shall never surrender.
Caves play an important role in the story of humanity. In addition to providing shelter for our earliest ancestors, caves were also considered to be mystical and magical realms. For some cultures, caves are gateways to underworld, while others believe that supernatural beings dwelled in these subterranean areas. Here we look at 10 incredible caves, or cave systems of the ancient world. Devechta Cave is an enormous cave in Bulgaria, which has provided shelter for groups of humans since the late Paleolithic era, and continuously for tens of thousands of years since then. Now abandoned by humans, it remains a site of national and international significance and is home to some 30,000 bats. The earliest traces of human presence date back to the middle of the early Stone Age, around 70,000 years ago. The cave also contained one of the richest sources of cultural artifacts from the Neolithic age. Dunmore Cave is a limestone cave located about 11 kilometers to the north of Kilkenny City, near Castlecomber. Within the cave there is around 300 meters of known passages and caverns. Dunmore Cave was at one point of time within the territory of the ancient Irish kingdom of Orrery, which was situated between the Viking strongholds of Dublin and Waterford and Limerick. The rivalry of the different Viking clans in Ireland provided one of the most chilling episodes in the history of Dunmore Cave. According to the Annals of Four Masters, around AD 928, the Vikings of Dublin were marching to attack their rivals in Waterford. On their way to their enemy's place, it is said that they raided and pillaged the surrounding countryside. When they arrived at Dunmore Cave, they found a large number of women and children hiding in it. Allegedly, hoping to capture them alive so they could be sold as slaves, the Vikings devised a plan to drive them out of the cave. They lit large fires at the mouth of the cave. The fires grew too large and consumed the oxygen within the cave, resulting in the suffocation of the refugees. It is recorded that 1,000 people died in this manner. In 1973, the bones of 44 people, many belonging to women, children and elderly, were found in Dunmore Cave. The mysterious man-made caves in Belgium burrow thousands of feet into the soft rock south of Brussels. In the distant past, the grottos were used as mines. One of the rocks we found was tuff, a type of soft volcanic rock which is rich in calcium carbonate. It is unclear when humans first mined the grottos. Some have speculated that they were used since Neolithic times, i.e. around 2600 BC. The most famous tale relating to the grottos is that of Pierre Colon, who lived sometime during the 18th century. Colon was a thief dubbed the Belgian Robin Hood, as he, like his English counterpart, stole from the rich and gave to the poor. Colon was said to rob the rich merchants passing through the forest nearby, and his hideout was in the grottos. Eventually, the law caught up with the benevolent thief, and he was hanged to death on the spot where he committed his crimes. Ellora is situated in the Indian state of Maharashtra. The site is home to 34 monasteries and temples, extending over a distance of more than 2 kilometers. These structures were dug into the wall of a high basaltic cliff. It is unclear when these caves were built, and estimates range between 200 BC and 600 AD. The oldest caves can be found on the southern side of the cliff and are Buddhist origin. They are comprised of monasteries and a single large temple. A lot of effort was put into these structures. The three-storied building is believed to have been built entirely by human hands and hard labour. The rock-hard floors and ceilings of this cave were made level and smooth, reflecting the immense skill and craftsmanship of the builders. Moving north from the Buddhist group, one reaches the Hindu caves. These 17 caves belong mainly to the Sativite sect and date to the ramshackle period in the middle of the 8th century AD. For instance, Cave 16 is said to have been built by Ramsaka king Krishna I and dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva. The last 4 caves belong to the Jain group. These were said to have been built between AD 800 and AD 1000 by the Dhyaramba sect. These caves are massive, well proportioned and decorated. For example, there are decorated carvings of lotus flowers and other elaborate ornaments in the cave. The Hellfire Caves of West Wickham are a network of man-made chalk and flint caverns in Buckinghamshire, England, made famous by their sordid past. They are named after the infamous Hellfire Club, made up of high-ranking members of society, noblemen, politicians who are believed to have engaged in ritual, orgies and black magic deep within the subterranean chambers beneath West Wickham. Nevertheless, the caves are the place where myth and reality are so entangled that it is difficult to separate one from the other. According to accepted accounts, English politician Sir Francis Dashwood commissioned an amphibious project in 1748 to supply chalk to a 5-kilometre road between West Wickham and High Wycombe, and so the caves were said to be dug out for mining purposes. It was here that Dashwood created a meeting centre for the Knights of St Francis of Wickham, a private members' club which later became known as the Hellfire Club. The Ajanta Caves are a series of more than 30 caves that were constructed around 200 BC and were used as retreats for Buddhist monks during the monsoon season. The caves were abandoned after the 7th century AD when Buddhism declined in India, but are considered sacred to this day by locals. During their use, the caves were expanded and decorated. They are full of beautiful paintings and create a serene atmosphere for the visitor. Many of the paintings depict the life of Buddha, as well as his previous incarnations known as Jantras. However, an interesting feature is that the number of female depictions is as abundant as the males. To the common viewer, images of semi-naked women in caves used as monk retreats are unusual. Paintings with half-men, half-animals depictions are also present, bearing resemblance to the mythology of many other cultures. Uplinske, whose name translates to Fortress of the Lord, is an ancient rock town which played a significant role in Georgian history over a period of approximately 3,000 years. Archaeological excavations have revealed extraordinary artifacts dating back from the Late Bronze Age all the way up to the Late Middle Ages. Beginning its history in the 2nd millennium BC, Uplinske has been identified as one of the oldest urban settlements in Georgia. Back then, the complex was a very important cultural centre for pagan worship in the Iberia region. Archaeologists have unearthed numerous temples and findings relating to a sun goddess worship prior to the arrival of Christianity. The rock-cut structures include dwellings, a large hall, pagan places of sacrifice, and functional buildings such as a bakery, a prison, cellars, and even an amphitheatre, all connected by footways and tunnels. Between the 6th century BC and the 11th century AD, Uplinsk was one of the most important political, religious and cultural centres of pre-Christian Khartar, one of the predecessors of the Georgian state, and flourished until it was ravaged by the Mongols in the 13th century. The Beit Guru Marashka caves in Israel has been used for thousands of years as quarries, burial sites, storerooms, stables, hideouts, dovecotes, cisterns, baths, and places of worship. They are comprised of chambers of networks with various functions. They are situated below Marashka. The Royston Cave is an artificial cave in Hertfordshire, England. It is not known who created the cave or what it was used for, but there has been much speculation. The cave was discovered in August 1742 in Royston. A worker was digging holes to build a footing for a new bench at the market. He discovered a milestone while he was digging, and when he dug around to remove it, he found the shaft leading to the cave. When the cave was discovered, it was half filled with dirt and rock. Once the earth was removed, workers discovered numerous sculptures and carvings dating back to as early as 1200 AD. The images are mostly religious, depicting St. Catherine, the Holy Family, the Crucifixion, St. Lawrence holding the gridiron on which he was martyred, and the figure holding a sword who could be either St. George or St. Michael. Some believe that Royston Cave was used by the Knights Templars. Others believe it may have been an Augustan store mine. Another theory is that the Neolithic flint mine. None of these theories have been sustained, and the origin of Royston Cave remains a mystery. Located near the village of Shiabekom in Zhejiang Province, China, lies the OOWK Caves, an extensive, magnificent and rare ancient underground world, considered in China as the ninth wonder of the ancient world. The OOWK Grotto, which is thought to date back to at least 2,000 years, represents one of the largest underground excavations of ancient times, and are an enduring mystery. First discovered in 1992 by a local villager, 36 grottos have now been discovered, covering a massive 30,000 square meters. Carved into solid siltstone, each grotto descends around 30 meters underground and contains stone rooms, bridges, gutters and pools. There are pillars evenly distributed throughout the caves which are supporting the ceiling and the walls. Ceiling and stone columns are uniformly decorated with chisel marks in a series of parallel lines. Only one of the caves has been open to tourism, chosen because of the stone carvings found inside, which depict a horse, fish and birds. Scientists from around the world in the fields of archaeology, architecture, engineering and geology have absolutely no idea how they were built, by whom or why.